Good morning, everyone. How are you? I know it's been about a week since I've been on YouTube. The reason I haven't made a video in a week is because, as you know from the title, I had a COVID scare. So let me just briefly give you that story. So my bus aide, who sits literally like this far from me on the bus, has COVID. Um, she didn't show up for work on Monday and then let me know that thought she had COVID and gotten the test, and then Wednesday said, yeah, I have COVID. So Thursday morning, I called out of work. Thursday morning, went to CVS, got the COVID test, but didn't find out I don't have COVID until Saturday afternoon at not even afternoon, Saturday at 5 o'clock, got a text that said, your results are ready. View them at this link, and went on the website and everything. So thankfully, I don't have COVID. The reason I worry about things like this, and not that everybody shouldn't worry about stuff like this, but I'm immunosuppressed because of the chemo. Even though it's been years, they tell you you're always immunosuppressed because they basically wiped out kind of all the memory that your body has for fighting disease. So it's like being a child, kind of like you're starting from scratch. So yeah, I was very nervous, as you might, assume. I was going to make a video, and then I was like, I should wait because, I should be able to say, yes, I have COVID, or I don't have COVID. And then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share that. But seriously, when do I not share personal stuff? I don't care, right? I don't care what people think of me, honestly. It's a gift of age. You get to a certain age when you're a woman and you're like, whatever, I don't care. Your opinion means nothing to me. So I'm at that point. But anyway, let's talk about something more interesting, like what a complete moron I am when it comes to sewing. So remember this Christmas fabric, this view B, right? So as I've said before, I sewed a lot when I was young. Late teens, early 20s, I sewed like a majority of my wardrobe, except for the stuff that was vintage, which I found at thrift stores, and I very often would fix it or change it around and, do stuff to it. So I have this beautiful silk charmeuse, right? Talked about in the last video how I had to go get the special needle, blah, blah, blah. So if someone were to say to me, hey, I've never sewn with silk, any advice, I would have said, be sure you make a mock-up with some, cheap muslin so that any issues you will work out on cheap cotton and not silk charmeuse. So what did I do? I tore into that silk charmeuse without a mock-up, like a 3-year-old with their first pair of grown-up scissors. I don't know. Seriously. Like there was a fever on me, or I don't know, demons had taken over my blood humors. I don't know what happened to me, but yeah. So when I got really deep dive into screwing up this beautiful fabric, which by the way, I'm doing French seams on, so I was literally sewing it twice, I stopped and just went, you got to make a mock-up. You're having problems figuring out this pattern. So that was the thing. I figured I can figure out this pattern, right? I'm on it, right? Because it says the Very Easy Vogue. They're lying. Anyway, Vogue, since you lied to me, I went back and I started making a mock-up in just some muslin for this, and I'm working on that now. And the good news and bad news is what I've pinned up so far is actually a little bit bigger than I am, which means that I may be able to change the seam allowance, bring it in a little bit, and cover up some of the areas where the silk was pre-sewn. The only problem is I still have that problem with the silk running. And honestly, that's another thing. So here's my advice about mock-up. Another really good part of making a mock-up is when you are making a mock-up and you see things like gathers, it's a really good indication of what kind of fabrics you shouldn't use to make that blouse. Now, the funny thing is Vogue recommends silk charmeuse for this blouse, which I get it. It's like a silky blouse, right? But it gathers in the front. Not a great thing for silk because, you're pulling. Yeah, right? We got that. So I'm going to try and save it. Obviously, I didn't get anywhere near my goals for this month. So, of course, I'm going to go through my patterns today, and I might do another video tomorrow or the day after where I talk about some of my goals for next month. What I am going to do is I'm going to finish the mock-up, and I'm going to finish this shirt because you got to sometimes plow through this stuff that's difficult. I know, like, sometimes you get to the middle of the mountain, you're like, I can't make it to the precipice because I'm out of breath. But instead of going back down the mountain, sometimes it's a really good idea to sit and catch your breath and then go up. Of course, then you could also die on the top of the mountain. Like, apparently the Himalayas are littered with bodies of people who didn't make it to the top. But I am just sewing. So there you go. All right, so you guys can see what's behind me. So let's talk about this little deal I did at Goodwill. So you know me, I love going to the Goodwill. I always find good stuff. Before, I actually got these Tuesday. So this was before my bus aide knew she had COVID. Because honestly, we both have been kind of struggling with what I would call like a sinus infection. And we both had it, and the kids give us everything. I'm not kidding. Basically, small children are just germs with feet. That's all they do is just spread, like, and of course, my teenagers are hormones with feet. So, I've got the best of both worlds. But anyway, before that, I went into Goodwill one day, and there was like nothing. And then I just happened to like turn my gaze over to the area where they keep rolls of wrapping paper of all things. And what did I see? But this loveliness. All right, so this is acetate lining material, but this is a lot of acetate lining material in these 3 different colors. You can kind of see the colors, and you can see how much is on these rolls. It's a shame this one, which is really pretty, and you could almost do something else with, maybe has the least amount. It's got a little discoloration, but it's still good. Now, here's the kicker. These all cost me individually $3.99 each. Okay. So $4.99 each. There's 3 of them. So it was $12. And then the woman says to me the phrase that I both love to hear and hate to hear, which is, would you like the senior citizens discount? To which I said, hell yeah. So I got all 3 of these for like $11 and some change. So it was a pretty good deal. I mean, it's a steal, because I still am going to try and make some trousers and maybe even a jacket, both of which are going to need lining material. And, not for nothing, but I could try mocking up with this too. If I find that I have enough of this and I'm like, wow, I'm never going to use all this, I can use this as mock-up material. For the mock-up I did for this pattern, I ended up using some, it's actually like a cotton batiste, and I had bought it because I wanted something lightweight that I could fuse to when I was making masks for people. In the beginning of the pandemic last year, I was making masks for my friends that are healthcare workers because they were needing to reuse their PPE equipment. So I was making masks for them, and I was using like pieces of fabric I had from other projects. And then I did actually go out and buy some fabric too. And I was doing an interfacing to the cotton and then sewing it all together so that they actually had like 3 layers, because that fusible interfacing, a lot of it has Teflon in it, believe it or not. And yeah, talk about something to keep that, out of your face, to, triple layers, but it was lightweight. So I was doing that a lot. But now you're all caught up, guys. And like I said, I'm probably going to go through my patterns today and take a look at what I want to do for the next month. But I'm not going to start anything until I finish this. So you probably won't see much until I start finishing this. So I'm going to finish the mock-up. It's almost done. I'm going to just fit it out, but it's really feeling too big already, which is good. That means 2 things. I've lost some weight, and I may be able to save the Christmas fabric because I do really love it. I may end up doing, though, a short sleeve with the Christmas fabric, and the reason is because when I was working on this sleeve, the long sleeve, I didn't lengthen it. And the sleeve itself actually didn't have, the line where you cut through and you want to lengthen something. So I would have to do the lengthening. I would have had to do the lengthening on my own before I cut it. And I didn't, because of the way the pattern's cut, because of the way it's like a yoke pattern. So it's a big giant piece, and the armhole's actually over here. And then the yoke piece that goes with the front is part of it's all one piece, which is how it got really confusing for me, because I was just like, give me 3 pieces with 2 set-in sleeves. I'm good, man. And a collar, I'm good. I got you. I've made them before. Nope, not this. Interesting design, but not so easy. Not so very easy, Vogue. So, anywho, that's what I'm up to. I hope everyone's well. That was quite a little scare for me. I'm happy I don't have COVID. Do kind of wish that with the COVID, when they tell you that you're negative, that they also say, but you happen to have a nasal, you have a sinus infection, because I was still sick. So, but I'm feeling better. So back to work tomorrow and everything else. And until the next video, I hope everyone stays well. Be happy. I really feel like summer, well, not summer, let's say spring. Let's be optimistic. I feel like spring's coming. The last couple of days here have been unseasonably warm. They have been raining. But I'm also noticing the sun's coming up earlier and it's staying up later, which is really nice. So, sorry. This is what I'm talking about. So anyway, guys, until the next video, have a good week. And I may be posting a video as soon as Tuesday. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But until then, stay healthy. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Please leave comments. I would love to see your comments, especially from anybody that was in on the Redbird Vintage closet clean out on Saturday. That was fun. And I'll see you guys then. Bye.